Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fusion Podcast, the destination where you can connect with professionals in all aspects to enhance your day-to-day life and your future. You will be enlightened with 15 to 30-minute interviews with these professionals, followed with a DJ theme set to brighten up your day. Excited for our journey together here at Fusion Podcast. Welcome to the family, and now presenting to you, yours truly, your host, myself, Andrea Arenas Vasquez, also known as Ace Fusion. Hello, everybody. I just want to present to you episode number 2 with Fusion Podcast. And today we have a very special guest, Lisa Velazquez, a dating relationship expert, a sex therapist, an amazing human being. I met this human being maybe 2016, and I could tell you that this human being could bring so much knowledge, and I'm excited to share with you the knowledge that she's going to bring to our Fusion Podcast as a family. So welcome to the family, Lisa Velazquez. I'm so excited to have you here because today's topic, we're going to be talking about self-love and how loving ourselves, we can attract and align the correct love that we're supposed to. So I'm really, really excited for you to talk about this, Lisa. And welcome to episode number 2. How are you today?
Thank you so much, Ace, for having me. I'm thrilled to be here. I'm honored to share this space with you. Congrats on starting this podcast. And yes, we did meet in 2016. I love how the dance community brings so many amazing people together.
Yes, that's amazing. That's amazing. I'm so happy. And when I met you there, I realized that you were in pretty much having an event meeting. Within the event, you had a meeting and you had a group of amazing community female leaders, and you were pretty much having some type of seminar for love or dating. Can you explain that to us, like just a little bit about that? That way we can get into the self-love and what that looks like if someone wanted to know what self-love is, even if they're single, in a relationship, or, you know, whatever status they're in.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's really important to look at, you know, how we love ourselves, right? And we talk about when you want to attract, you want to find, you want to have that deep, extraordinary love that you desire, it's important to look at, is that aligned with who you are and how you love yourself? And, you know, I've done tons of workshops, you know, across the country. We met around the time I was doing a self-love and empowerment workshop for women I believe we were in Chicago. I think we met in DC, but we saw each other again in Chicago. But like I said, we see each other all the time, dancing around the world. But I think it's really important that we look at how we're loving ourselves, and people who are naturally loving their bodies, right? Dancers love to move their bodies and be natural and be sensual. And at the same time, those amazing people who love themselves on a physical level get to still also love themselves on an emotional level, right? And this goes for everybody, but I think I'm saying that specifically because I was speaking to dancers at the time, and me being one as well, and you being one. And I know a lot of the community listening are dancers. So you get to connect all of those. It's really important that, yes, you embrace yourself physically, but are you embracing yourself emotionally in a way that's healthy for your soul, right? So I think it's really important to look at what self-love is. And I know a lot of you listening might be thinking, well, you know, I know I'm a powerful person, or I'm a great person, I'm a good friend, but I kind of like lose myself when it's time to focus on me. I feel like I'm not really sure how to do that. I'm great with my friends, but when it comes to me, I kind of fall off and I don't know why, right? Or I'm single and I'm ready to meet people, but I keep being told I'm intimidating, or I keep being told that I'm extra, right? So I love hearing that one, right? So I want to say that those are beliefs, they're not facts. All the things that you're experiencing may be true to the extent that you've had the experiences, but they are not facts about you that are a matter of fact that you cannot change. These are things that you are believing based on a series of experiences, right? And we're not talking about pretending things have not happened to you, because there are tons of things that are okay that happened and that you healed from, and there are things that are detrimental that you probably went through that you're working on healing from. So we're not negating your experiences when I say that they're beliefs, they're not facts. What I want to say is the way you're feeling about certain experiences may not be supporting you. So if you're saying, I'm extra, people think I'm extra, that's why I really can't find the right person. I said, well, what if we flip that belief and say that you're extraordinary? right? What if we looked at it as there's more to you than the average person can handle because they're not willing to step up to your level? What if they're not on a high vibe? What if you're this amazing person that is bossing up in the world, that's loving on your family and friends, that's contributing to the world and doing amazing things for yourself, whether that's at a job or you own a business, whether you run a dance team, whatever that looks like for you, or whether you're just a badass person, right? In the dopest way ever. But there are people that can't handle that energy, right? And that doesn't mean that your energy is bad. It means that those people are not willing to be on your vibe, right? And you get to look at the positive side of your vibe and where you get to connect. And maybe if people are calling you too much, maybe they're just too little, right? So I want you to stop negating the most amazing things about you, because the best part of self-love is that, like, we get to practice how we talk to ourselves. We get to practice how we treat ourselves. We get to practice how we think about ourselves. Now, think about how you treat your bestie, right? You're ride and thrive. I don't like saying ride and die. I believe in ride and thrive. I think that our relationships, our friendships, our family, our partners are people we should thrive with. So who are you riding and thriving with? Who is that person that hypes you up on a text for your next exam, at your job, for your presentation or a promotion, or your next performance, right? Who's hyping you up in a thread, right? A text thread. Who, like, think about that energy you bring to that person or they're bringing to you. It's about bringing that energy to yourself. It's really about, what am I pouring into me? What am I doing to take care of myself? Sometimes taking care of yourself is unfollowing people on social media. Sometimes it's not responding to every message through every drama that's going on in the world. Maybe there's, we're in a pandemic, right? We're quarantined, most of us are, and we're not always around our loved ones. We're not always associating with our friends the way we want to. So I really want you to think about, how are you taking care of yourself throughout this process? So are you eating well? Are you sleeping well? Are you interacting with people that are supporting you to be emotionally healthy? Are you reaching out to people when you need emotional support? Or are you, hiding? So I think it's really important that we do the main check-ins. Like, are you bathing? Let's be real.
Right.
Some people falling into depressions, they're not taking care of themselves physically, emotionally, spiritually. What are you doing after a long work day? Because even working can stress you out and take you down. Are you doing things to revitalize yourself? Are you dancing for fun in your kitchen? That's one of my favorite things to do. So that's what I did today.
Right.
And I think it's important that we're pouring it into ourselves. So I want you to also take a look at where you are in your love life right now, because self-love is going to build, you're going to build pieces and pour those pieces into every area of your life. Because I know a lot of people that tell me that, you know what, I'm really good when I'm single. Like, I really build my self-love. But when I start dating, that's when I start slacking.
Wow.
When I start slacking,
Wow.
I find myself slacking. I like this person. And then I'm just like, well, maybe if I say yes to this, maybe it'll go further along. Oh, I don't want to be difficult, so let me say yes to that.
Wow.
Oh, so there's a lot of the things where we, like, pull back on our self-love so much, then we start to, like, diminish it. We start to forget who we are in the process, and then take that into the process of being in the relationship, right? You're dating, and your self-love was great, but then it starts to diminish, and then you finally get into a relationship, and you're in a relationship, you're in love, you're happy, you're at the level you want to be at, whatever the level that looks like for you. And whether that's engaged or, in the relationship, or you got married, but then you were like, wait a second, this relationship revolves around this other person. What about me?
Right.
Like, I got the label, I got the person, but I left myself behind.
Right.
Why do I keep doing that?
Right.
Why do I keep doing that? What am I repeating? Why am I showing up in a way that's not supporting you when I know that I'm a great person? I deserve love. I deserve companionship. I deserve someone that's going to adore me. why do I always like cancel my own self-love? What is it about me? So it's really about what we're telling ourselves. So you need to ask yourself, okay, if I want self-love when I'm single to rejuvenate myself, and single and dating to keep it going, to be reignited consistently, to attract that person, to attract the love that I want, right? Because it's only coming through a person based on what you're believing about what it is that you want, what it is that you deserve for yourself. Now, and then when you get to the relationship, whatever level that is, engaged, committed, married, whatever that looks like, you're going to be attracting what you've been entertaining all this time. So it's really important to look at, how can I, reconnect to my self-love? How can I keep it reignited? Can I continuously reignite it? Because it's a continual process, because life's going to throw you wild cards, and your level of self-love gets to adjust and adapt to what you need at that moment in time. And then also speaking up for yourself in relationships, right? Because let me tell you something, they're going to try you. They're going to try you at every level. Okay. And the universe is going to be like, you love yourself? Show me. Right. So you have to consistently stand up for yourself, speak up for yourself. That does not mean being argumentative, right? A lot of people are like, well, I don't want to fight with people, but I want to say to you, fight for yourself. Speak up for yourself, because a lot of the time what it is that nobody wants to rock the boat. I don't want to upset them. They're going to think I'm not cool. They're going to think I'm difficult. They're going to think I'm like extra or crazy.
Question, is that part of self-love as well, when someone is in a relationship and they're afraid to ask, or they're afraid to rock the boat, like you mentioned? Is that part of like, unhealthy self-love, or like not loving yourself because you're not able to rock the boat?
Absolutely. So I always want to look at it as, oh, this is where I get to learn. So this is where I get to level up, and I get to speak up, because what that is that it's people pleasing. So you're really diminishing who you are when you don't speak up for what you want. And there's a way to do it that's graceful, that's grounded. I think it's really important that we understand that we are able to communicate. We have the power. That's what I want you to understand. Decide the kind of self-love you want to have for yourself in all your relationships. So decide how you want to be treated by a partner in your romantic life and in all of your life, your friendships, your family relationships. Decide how you want to be treated. You get to decide you want something different versus just minimizing yourself to please other people, right? Because at the end of the day, they're not minimizing themselves for you. They're speaking up. They're letting you know what you want, what they want from you in the relationship. Now, you get to look at the belief. Some people think this, I have to hold myself small to have love. I have to be someone I'm not. And I've said this before, a lot of my IG stories, like, remember who you are. Be who you are and trust in who you are. Because if you're being someone else, you're attracting the kind of love that you actually don't want. That's why it keeps happening. And you also have to say no to it when it shows up. Because if things you don't want show up, you must say no. Because if you consistently entertain them, you are saying yes to them. Entertaining them is by welcoming them in. I really believe in qualifying people. And what that means is like asking them questions, getting to know them. And I think the biggest part with self-love is what I teach in a lot of my coaching is teaching people boundaries, right? Because what you brought up before is really a lack of boundaries.
I actually never knew what that was until I started taking therapy about 4 months ago. I didn't even know what boundaries were and what kind of boundaries, because of how I was brought up. I didn't know I deserved to have boundaries as a child too, And this whole time, my mom raised me, she raised me on her own, and she raised me really, really tough. So I love that we're getting into this conversation, because for me, I mean, like I'm going through, like a breakup right now, and I was engaged before. And I feel like for me, I don't think I've done the correct self-love, or I haven't really nurtured my own love, because of the fact that I realized that I've actually continue these, I don't know, it's like some patterns that I would say that for me continue to show up for me. And I guess it's called childhood wounds. You know, like my therapist was trying to get to the bottom and the root of why things keep happening within my relationships, and, you know, just the root of it all. Like I'm trying to get to the bottom of it because it's the first time in my life where I was engaged, and, you know, it's not there anymore, you know? So for me, what I decided to do, again, like that's why I'm having this Fusion podcast, because I want to be able to inspire people and share my story and then bring a professional in like yourself. And for me, it was just like, I think, now that you mentioned self-love could also mean, you know, not knowing that you have blind spots, like we were talking yesterday, because for me, that's been one of my blind spots. I've been, you know, there's certain patterns and there's certain reactions that I always get that most likely get my partners, you know, to a certain point where they're like, oh no, I can't do this anymore, you know? And for me, it's just like, I never even meant to be this type of person, or, you know, I never meant to not be loving as that other person wanted me to love them, you know? So for me, it's just like, what do I do? Where do I go? How do I do it? And for the first time, I'm like, this is my first time in my life where I'm engaged and it's broken. And I'm like, I never want this ever to happen to me again. And I'm like, let me do some deep soul searching and let me hire a therapist. That's what I did. I was just like, you know what? I can have this happen in my life again. And for me, this is the first time where I feel like I'm actually doing self-love and self-care, where I'm talking to a professional who's helping me, you know, and guiding me through my childhood wounds to see if some of those triggers have been, you know, continuously happening throughout my relationships. And I'm like, I can't have that anymore. You know, I want to be as healthy as I can be for myself and for the people around me. So how can you, you know, what can you add to that? Because I know for you, you're a love coach, but at the same time, you do realize that human beings themselves, you know, the way they got brought up and their, you know, experiences and their trauma can literally impact relationships, especially the intimate ones.
Absolutely. First of all, you know, kudos to you for going to therapy. I think it's really important that we do deep work. You know, you're taking the time to actually heal and do your inner work that's going to have you be healed and be able to experience love and life at a different level, right? In a way that you can see things clearly, right? You can see yourself clearly and how you're showing up, and you can show up as your healthiest self in your next relationship. And you can also be a healthy partner, right? And if you choose to have children, that's obviously your choice. You're going to be able to have a different love example for them. I think that's really important to think about, and people to listen to what you just said. Your story is powerful. I think that it's beautiful and it's going to heal a lot of people. And I think it's so important that we check in and do this work with ourselves. I will share that for me personally, I have a background in therapy, and the work that I do with clients in coaching is that we only do the deep work, right? It's really important. A lot of times there's, you know, dating tips you can give and things of that nature, but I think it's important to literally do what you said. And I say this because from my own personal experience, after I finished school and I was getting some more certifications, I went through a horrible breakup. And one thing I remembered more than anything was that I could not see where I ended and there they began. And that is the story of boundaries. So it's really important to look at that. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I'm so overworked, tired, over school because I was studying too much. That's what you have to do sometimes. But I recognized that when that relationship ended, I took the time to do the inner work, because there's being an expert, I'm putting this in quotes, but there's also being an expert at yourself. Like, you're supposed to be an expert at you. You're supposed to study you and honor you. And I remember that, tracing back where I remember being upset and being the kind of person that holds myself accountable and not understanding when someone else broke an agreement with me. But then I realized, but what was the agreement that I broke with myself that allowed that to continue? Right? We break agreements. We have these underlying agreements that we make that we don't even know about. And then we don't see it till the relationship ends. We don't see it till things don't turn out the way we want them to. But the important thing is to look at, where did I break an agreement with myself? Because I recognize, oh, I stood in this relationship way past the expiration date. And because I thought I was being loyal and honorable, monogamous, and just upfront, I kept questioning why they weren't being that. And I realized, but how many times can you question a person? How many times can you not notice that they're not doing what they say they're going to do? You are saying yes to it the more you keep not recognizing and looking at how they are not showing up that way. What about you is continuously giving this person another chance when they're not aligned with your values? I thought as a woman, you fight for the relationship, right? But when it's only one person fighting, what are you doing? So this is every gender. It should not be one person fighting for the relationship. It should be two people doing the work on themselves and being honest about what they need in the relationship, a commitment in that, and deciding if that's going to be aligned or not, and looking at if it's not aligned, having the courage to walk away and having the courage to speak up about it. So I just wanted to share that because I think a lot of people feel like it's just them. And it's not just you. There's so many of us that have gone through that or are going through that right now. But there's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You just broken open from your heartbreak, right? I think it's important to look at how we were broken open to see what's really going on inside.
Wow. I never thought about it that way. And I feel like, wow, that's a lot. That's a lot when it comes to like, that's everything. You pretty much painted everything that, you know, that's happening to me. I'm pretty much broken open. And now I'm able to help put the pieces back together with the correct resource, you know, with the right resource. And I feel like that's important too, you know, because I can't fix myself. And I feel like I could only, you know, continue to build healthy habits because I can't erase my past. I can't erase the hurt that I've been through as a child and, you know, through my experiences. So for me, it's just like, and anyone going through it right now, either a breakup or they're being single for a long, long time. I feel like a lot of times we really need to dig deep into what is it that has held us back? What are those blind spots? And that to me is like one of the biggest reasons why I'm very fortunate that I'm going through this, because if it wasn't because of that breakup, I would have not even done some soul searching for myself and what is it that's been holding me back for a long time. So, wow, that's amazing. Thank you for putting it that way. I never thought about it that way, broken open.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of the time I've heard people say they're broken, and that kind of breaks my heart when I hear people say that. I'm like, no, you're not broken. You're heartbroken. You feel, you know, sad, but that doesn't mean something's wrong with you. Like people think, because honestly, it physically feels like that, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the time people feel like the experience of love in the body is expansive. Like it feels like, like you could breathe extra. You take these huge deep breaths and like the world is colorful. Like it's the physical feeling. It's the manifestation, right? And then when you feel sad, you feel like something broke. And that's really where it comes from. But like what happens is, I want to say this, what broke was the agreement with you not honoring yourself, with the agreement of you showing up small in the area of life you actually want to expand. You broke an agreement to be with someone that's not treating you right. You broke an agreement to actually stop being committed to a lower version of yourself, a low vibe version of yourself. Because if you are a positive person, that you know that you have the faith to have an extraordinary life and an extraordinary love, you cannot be in a low vibe situation. And that means a low energy, right? I think one of the biggest things that connects you to anything you want is your energy. Like Ace and I are still connected because of our energy. I haven't seen they in years, okay? Years. So the fact that we're still connected is energy. It's our vibe. That's what brought us together. Think about the times you've met like awesome people and you're like, oh my God, I don't know what it is. It's just a vibe, right? It's the energy that you're circulating through your bodies. It's actually physics. You can look that up. That's what it is. It's actually real. So when you heal, when you break away from things that are not healthy for you emotionally, physically, spiritually, sexually, mentally, you're going to flow away from those things. In the beginning, it may not feel like that, right? Because if you've invested so much of your heart in someone, you kind of can feel empty, because if it's just you investing in another person, literally, you're going to be depleted. So you're going to feel empty, physically empty. But the whole point of self-love is to pour that energy back into yourself, your vibrant energy. And there's so many ways to do it, but I always want to talk about really like asking yourself, who taught me how to love? Where did I learn to communicate love? Where did I learn to give love? Where did I learn to receive love? What were the examples that I saw? These are things I talk about in my love breakthrough session, but I'm going to jump in and like share it here because I want you to have some nuggets to work with. So that question, I want you to ask yourself, who taught you how to love? And, you know, what did they live by? What was the example they lived by? That may have been your parents or your guardian, because not everybody's raised by their parents. So you want to look at who raised you and how they loved a significant romantic person in their life, because they may have had multiple partners, no partners, or one partner. And you want to look at how they engaged in those types of relationships. And then you want to look at how they and the person they were with, or for a short period of time, whatever the length was, how did they individually treat each other? And how did they treat you? How did they love you? So there's the romantic love, and then there's also the love they gave you as a parent or guardian. Those love examples created a love identity, right, that we start saying about ourselves. Somebody may notice that you may be a joyful person that really wanted like this fantasy, romantic, sexy kind of love that they thought was impossible. But you believe in that. So they kept saying, that's not real, stop with that fakery, or whatever they want to call it. And eventually they kind of like hindered on you about what love is going to be. So after a while, like, you know, you may inherit the belief that I can't find the love I want. I'm too much to love. What I want is too much. So I have to settle in love. So that's like, you took the identity on that I'm difficult, I want too much. And then the story you told from that identity was, I can't find love, love's too hard to find. I have to settle for situationships. You know, people always leave. There's so many stories that can come from array of things, but those examples that you learn from, you know, if you saw a parent get, you know, left, if you were raised by a single parent, there's another story that marriages don't last because people always leave. You know, I'm going to have the same fate as my parent or guardian because that's all I know. Don't tell me because I done seen it all. There's so many stories we learn from that. And it's really about, you know, getting the support you need to unpack those limiting beliefs around the examples that you learned about love, the identity you inherited by that example, and the story you keep telling about love. You know, people have these stories that I don't think love is real. Love is not for me. There's just, you know, these thotties out here. Like, there's just these guys that want one thing. Everybody has their stories they tell, right? So I really think it's important to look at, what is the story you're telling yourself? What do you get to believe about yourself, right? Because you have these beliefs that are not supporting you. They're unhealthy beliefs. They're kind of toxic beliefs about love. What do you get to believe differently about yourself? Because you're here, and I want to thank you for being here because you showed up for yourself. If you're on this podcast right now listening, you showed up for yourself. You showed up because you wanted to learn something. You showed up because you want some clarity. You showed up because you want some damn answers. Okay, so you're really showing up because you want things to be different in your love life right now. So if you're saying, I want to be different in my love life, I want to have the love that I really desire. I want to love myself in those relationships. I want to love myself throughout dating. I want to love myself throughout my partnership. I want to love myself in my marriage. What do you get to decide to do for yourself right now that gets to be different? That I'm lovable. The love life that I want is real. So I am going to support myself to be the things that I want. I'm going to love myself fully. I am going to get the support that I need from a coach. I'm going to get the support I need from a therapist. You're going to invest in yourself. Right? Because what would you tell your friends? You would tell your friend, girl, go invest in them. Or, you know, boy, you better do what you got to do. You would tell anybody in your life to do that for themselves, right? You would do that. So you get to look at where you're holding yourself small and where you get to now decide to be different. Because if you want to be powerful in your life and in your relationships, you get to take back responsibility for yourself. And that doesn't mean you sit there blaming yourself, beating yourself up. But the really important thing about responsibility is that it is about the power to respond in situations in your life to make things turn out differently and in your favor, right? That is the difference. Because I think that we feel like victimized by our old situations in dating, right? In our relationships, like, oh man, like, nah, like that sucked. Okay. But, and I get to do something different. I get to learn from that experience. I get to be glad that I experienced loving someone that much, right? You love someone that much. And then I'm like, but guess what? Like, if I'm this conscious, if I'm this self-aware that I know I want to do something to heal myself, oh my God, boy, is there going to be an extraordinary love for me on the other side of this.
Wow. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, that's so powerful. That's a lot. So from the conversation that what you just said right now, I gather that anyone listening right now on this podcast, so you would highly recommend for someone to truly like healing themselves first, like self-love, healing yourself first. And what are some things that they could do? I mean, you said talk to a love coach, a therapist, or maybe they can, if they think they know what the situation or the problem is that's holding them back. You know, maybe it's sex, maybe it's, you know, again, like what are some, do you have any resources? I mean, I know you do some coaching online. So can you tell us a little bit about that and like how that would help someone with their, within themselves and like with self-love, and how would that help them, and what is it in for them? Because a lot of people, they want to know what's in it for them. And yeah, just tell us a little bit about that. What are your, one of your success stories? That way we know what we're getting ourselves into.
Sure. I'm grateful for my success stories. So the one thing I know, I have many. So I'm thinking now just to share that I had a client that was divorced twice. She was divorced 2 times. So she was married 2 times, and she just literally felt like, she said, I don't know how to date. That's what she said. So I was like, okay, so we're going to help you with this. So she actually did one of my love coaching programs with me called the Love Detox. It's an intensive program. So what we look at in general, and I start everybody off with, who wants to work with me, doing a love breakthrough session first. And this success story is someone that ended up doing all of the work. She really understood what her love examples were, her love identity, and her love story. And from there, she was able to create a new empowered commitment to love. And this person was able to heal from all the heartbreaks that she had, looked at how she showed up in her relationships. She also was able to, heal the wounds from traumas from her childhood, right? Because a lot of the time we don't realize the wounds we have from our parental figures, and that really poured into our love lives after that. And now she's actually engaged, and her fiance and her already live together, and they're already practicing, having a baby. So these are people like that work with me that really go all the way. And it's because she was willing to, number one, choose something different. If you know you've been doing this on your own for a minute, I would say it's time for you to invest in support. You could either keep doing it on your own and get the same kind of, experiences and results, or, I think it's really important to think about what you want now. And I think that that's the issue, is that we keep, oh, I could just try this on my own and do it by myself. But what have you been getting from doing everything alone? I think that it's really important that everybody gets to receive support. Because I know for me, if I ever wanted things in my life to be different, I've always invested in support. And I think that that's the missing ingredient, is to get the support you need from a therapist, a coach.
Right. Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense.
I just had to take some water there for a second.
It's okay. I was just saying it makes a lot of sense, and I'm happy I'm hearing this, and our listeners can hear this as well. And because that's very, very important that we do the inner work. I never done that in my life. This is the first time, and I'm 30 years old. So I wanted to share that with you, because for me, for the first time in my life, I actually started to see that I needed to really dig deep into who I was and how I showed up in relationships because of my past and because of my childhood trauma. So I'm so happy that you can talk about this and allow others to hear our story and hear how therapy, whether it's love coach, sex therapist, or any type of therapy, to help us get the love that we desire and be able to connect with ourselves. And I'm just glad that you're able to actually mention that, because I have a lot of close friends of mine who are amazing and who are just amazing human beings. And to this day, some of them they have double careers. They are, living, they're beautiful, and they're still single. And some of them wonder, like, what is it about them that they're not attracting the right love? And I fall in love more and more with this episode, because I feel like you hit everything on the nail as far as like self-love and what are things they could do, like therapy, love, whatever it is. And I'm happy you talked about your intensive program, because I know you were finishing up, but let us know a little bit more about that. How could you get started with this amazing love story success story?
Oh, I'm just really happy about it. I can't wait to their wedding. So their wedding is next year. And I will definitely be there. This will be like, I think maybe the third client wedding that I've gone to. So that's actually a great thing to hear. So it's pretty awesome. So if you want to work with me, you can go to lisatalkslove.com and you can book a love breakthrough session. And we look at where you are, where you want to be, and how I can support you to get there. And it'll be a deep dive. It's a 90-minute session. For me, it's not a lukewarm thing. I'll hold your hand the whole way, and we do a deep dive looking into what your love examples are, your identity, and your love story. And we look at what are the patterns in your love life? What are the patterns that you are consistently repeating that you get to break and heal from, and the blind spots that you have, and to support you to move forward. I will give you tools and strategies to move forward. You'll also have an opportunity to be invited to work with me privately in a long-term program to actually get the kind of results that my last client got, the one that I just mentioned, if that's what you want. And I have a current client now that's also focusing on her self-love, because she's in a relationship and engaged, but she feels like along the way she lost her self-love. And now she feels like she's got it back, because we did the love breakthrough, and we're consistently doing a self-love reboot program, which I have as well. But we start with the love breakthrough session to look at where you are, to really do the digging deep. Because even if you choose not to do a long-term program, the love breakthrough is going to support you to see the blocks, to heal the blocks, and to move forward from there. And I think that that's the most important thing, is that we do this inner work, because I know a lot of the time that's what we're not doing, that has us repeating the cycles in our love life that we're like, what's going on? But if you feel like that's you, please do reach out. You can also follow me on Instagram at Lisa Talks Love. Definitely hit me up there. The links are also in my bio for a love breakthrough session. But if you want to learn more, you can check that out. And you can also DM me. A lot of my clients DM me first. For some reason, that's how it happens. But I'm open to it, and I'm very open. So you can always reach out to me via DM. I'd love to hear from you there. So, that's what I got for you today. I really want people to get the support that they need, but it's really about deciding. And that's what I've noticed. Like, if you take anything away from what I've shared today, I really want you to decide, right? There's a lot of the time we are just sitting on the fence, hoping things are just going to change. And if you've learned anything from being in a pandemic, okay, it's that whatever was happening in your love life before the pandemic got magnified right now. And that's, if it was something unhealthy, it got brought to the surface, got brought into your face, because it wants you to deal. The world wants you to deal. The universe wants you to deal with what's not working in your life. But if you just sit there, it's not going to change. And I also ask you, where do you want to be when this pandemic is over? Because it's going to end. But what's going to be different is how you show up in the world after. What do you want to have done already? Did you want to decide? Did you want to decide to do something different and invest in yourself and do the inner work while you're in a space where you have the time and the convenience to do it? Or do you want to be waiting and the pandemic is over and the same issues, the same things that you don't want? So do you want to be like, oh, I'm really glad that I focused on doing my inner work during the quarantine in the pandemic, because now that it's over, I feel open and free and excited for my love life? But, or do you want to say like, damn, I really should have focused back then. I really should have focused on myself. So time is not promised. You know, I always think about how you invest your time is really important. But like I said, decide, like make a decision to do something different. You're worth it.
I made that decision 4 months ago for the first time in my life. And,
yes!
And it really took this amazing human being, again, like my ex-partner. I really value everything about what happened and how it happened. And without that happening, I would not be in this position where I made the decision to work and do true self-healing and dig deep into who I am and how I want to show up for, you know, the future, you know, and for whoever's in you know, in my future, I want them to get the best version of me. And I know, like, making the decision, and like you mentioned, you just have to decide. And I'm so grateful that you decided to come into this Fusion podcast, because the main purpose of this is to be able to bring a professional like yourself, who's a subject matter expert on topics, and be able to heal people together. And I know today, if we just touch one person's heart and we help them decide something healthy, I'm happy that we were able to do that. And I'm happy I was able to share, and you were able to share your success story, you know, and how even if you fail twice in a marriage, you still have hope. So imagine how beautiful that story is, where, you know, someone could talk about being married twice and then getting divorced twice, and now really fulfilling themselves and having the love of their life and attracting the love that they deserve, and, you know, by doing that self-work. So I'm really happy we got to the nitty-gritty of what today's podcast was about. Lisa, again, you can follow her at all the social medias. We're gonna have it posted on the description of this episode, so please make sure to hit her up. And if you ever have any questions or need anything, make sure you just subscribe, at least follow her, because she posts some amazing, valuable information on her page. Even if, you know, I know some people, they can't afford it, or they're struggling with finances. I'm sure that there's things out there. I even went on your page and I saw that you had some like 30 to 40 minute talking podcast or something like that, where people could go and just get some nuggets. And, you know, because for me, I'm always motivated to look things up if I wanted to find a way to make it happen, or a way to learn how to become a better human being. I'm always looking for ways. So when I went onto your page, just know lisataLkslove.com, and get all the information you need to make that decision and getting the love that you deserve. And hey, thank you so much, Lisa. But I have one last question that I'm going to ask every person, every Fusion podcast family member. You're the very first one, so I'm so honored to have you here. I'm so excited. I still feel like a little kid.
I feel so good. I popped you a cherry.
Yes. So I wanted to ask you something very important, because the podcast is conversation and then music. How has music been able to heal you from your experiences, and how have you seen music heal others? Because after this, we're gonna throw some love jams, a little R&B, a little romantic bachata, a little romantic salsa, just to spice up the podcast. Because I know people, when they, you know, conversations are everything and they can heal you, but when you listen to music and it hits you, it calms and soothes your soul. Like what Bob Marley said, you know, music, when it hits us, it just makes us feel good, you know, and it makes us feel better.
Oh my God. First of all, you said most of it. Music for me has healed parts of my soul that I didn't even know existed. So I really believe in the power of music to heal. I can't say enough about music. I feel like I have a playlist for everything. When we talked about this yesterday, I was like, how many songs can I recommend? I could give you like 50 songs, but I know for me that I am a hardcore R&B lady. Like for me, like love is a R&B vibe. I'm a Miguel girl. I just like, there's just, for me, the vibe of love can go from everything from Miguel to extravagance of Bruno Mars. So there's just certain songs that I just love that, oh my God, I'm just thinking about, there were so many. I was listening to them, I was jamming. But what I've noticed is that I brought music into my own personal healing journey over the years, and I've brought that to my clients. So because I know a lot of the time what music can do is get you out of your head and put you into your heart. And I believe that's the power of it. It can take us out of the things that we're experiencing that we're ungrounded and bring us back to center. And I noticed it's because I can ask a person a million questions about what's going on with them and say, hey, do this activity. But they can say, well, I can't do this and that. But I said, play the song. And when you play the song, it puts you in the spiritual, mental, and emotional, and even the physical space to remember what's on your heart to share, to let go of, to embrace, to release, to reignite you. So I really believe that music, like, it's magic. Like, that's the best way I can explain it.
So I'm so happy that you say that, because again, I'm going to ask that question to all of my guests and all of the family members here at Fusion Podcast, because that's the reason why I decided to add the music towards the end, because I wanted us to have a conversation of, and the conversation could have went anywhere, and right now, like, we're about to play some love R&B jams, a little bit of romantic, bachata, salsa, whatever comes to DJ Ace's heart. So please stay tuned. And thank you so much, Lisa, for coming to, Fusion Podcast and sharing the story. And yes, is there any last words you want to go ahead and let the listeners know?
Oh, I want to say first, thank you, Ace. You're just such a beautiful soul. I adore you. I'll never forget dancing with you. You're a freaking amazing dancer.
We still have that video on the
Oh God, don't. When I was a beginner, oh my God. But I will always share, like, I just wanted to say that you're just a beautiful soul, a beautiful human, and what you're doing really is going to shift the love consciousness of your community. I really believe that. And I'm saying love from love for humanity. And I just think what you're doing is great. I'm going to keep supporting you. I know your community is going to support you. And for everyone else listening, trust that you are enough, trust that you matter, and trust that you are valuable. Continue to love by example.
Thank you so much, Lisa. So much value, so much love, and we'll see you soon. Now, everybody, go ahead. DJ Ace is on the ones and twos.
Trust me, do you trust me now? Hey, I really gotta know. You know that I love you, and that ain't gonna change. And though you're not here with me now, my love for you stays the same. About those other girls, they can't take your place. You're the only woman in my world, and you can't be replaced. Girl, you know that I love you. Oh, girl, you're everything to me. Oh, girl, just let me show you, baby, just how much you mean to me. It's been such a long time since I've been with you. My friends say I should lay around. They wish that they could have treat you better than he can. Girl, I can't help but wait till you get that with him. It don't change. Can't help but wait till you see that with me it ain't the same. Can't help but wait till you see you for what you really are. Baby girl, you are a star, and I can't help but wait. It ain't fresh to just let him call the shots. You're a queen, you should be getting all that someone's got. You should be rocking the latest in purses, bracelets, and watches. You're worth much more than an occasional I love you, I'm thinking of you, and I don't wanna come between you and your man, no. Even though I know I treat you better than he can. Girl, I can't help but wait till you get that with him. It don't change. Can't help but wait till you see that with me it ain't the same. Can't help but wait till you see you for what you really are. Baby girl, you are a star, and I can't help but wait. Get it together, you can do better. See is believing, and I see what you need, so I'm gonna play my position. Let you catch what you've been missing. I'm calling out, girl, 'cause I can't help but wait till you get that with him. It don't change. Can't help but wait till you see that with me it ain't the same. Can't help but wait till you see you for what you really are. Baby girl, you are a star, and I can't help but wait till you get that with him. It don't change. Can't help but wait till you see that with me it ain't the same. Can't help but wait till you see you for what you really are. Baby girl, you are a star, and I can't help but wait. Oh, can't help but wait. No, 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 no. I can't help but wait. Oh, 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 can't help but wait. No, no.
Yeah, it's the Pied Piper of R&B, y'all. Whoa, follow me, Chicago and them. Oh yeah, Don Juan and them. Yeah, This is for y'all, the remix. Said I know that it's somebody's birthday tonight somewhere, and I know somebody's gonna celebrate tonight somewhere. I know one thing's for sure, I'm gonna put on my dancing shoes, then I'ma hit the door and go out and step the whole night through. Step in the name of love, I'm gonna step in the name of love, then I'm gonna clap in the name of love. Oh yeah, clap in the name of love, I'm gonna step in the name of love. Ooh. Step in the name of love, in the name of love, in the name of love. Yeah. Prove in the name of love. See, I know there's somebody breaking out the champagne somewhere, and you can be sure that somebody's gonna make love night until the day. Oh, one thing's for sure, I'm gonna put on my dancing shoes, then I'ma hit the door and go out and step the whole night through. Step in the name of love, yeah. Step in the name of love. Whoa. Clap in the name of love, yeah. Clap in the name of love. Said I'm gonna step in the name of love. Ooh. Step in the name of love, in the name of love. Prove in the name of love. Oh, I wait till somebody else gets up. I wanna be the first one to hit the floor. So say to turn it up. Cause it feels so good. Dancing to this remix makes me wanna step. Cause it's a cut. Step in the name of love. Oh, babe. Step in the name of love. Go on. Clap in the name of love. Yeah. Clap in the name of love. Step in the name. Step in the name of love. Of love. Step in the name of love. Then I'm gonna groove. Yeah. Groove in the name of love.
Every time, Mr. Telephone. Guess I'm trying to clear some mental space. I would love to talk to you in person, but I understand why that can't be. I'll leave you alone for good, I promise. You answer this one question for me. I just wonder, do you ever think of me anymore? Do you? First off, let me say congratulations. Heard that you just had a baby girl. If she looks anything like her mother, she's the prettiest thing in the world. Swear that I'm not trying to start no trouble. Tell your fiancé he can relax. I'll leave you alone for good, I promise. There's a question I've just got to ask. I just wonder, do you ever think of me anymore? Do you?
Hey, listen, pardon me, darling, if I alarmed you. I don't mean to bother you, I just wanna get you to pause and slow your walk so maybe we can talk and I can try to charm you. I'm just trying to find out who you are. I don't mean to come off like a telemarketer. I ain't no hood, no crook, no robber. I just want a part of your heart I can borrow sometimes. And maybe I can call you up sometimes. And maybe I can take you out sometimes. So let's exchange digits and later arrange visits, either your place or mine. Yeah, this a different type of commitment. I'm talking about a true friendship. Someone I can depend on and be down no matter what. Let me know if you with it, cause girl, it'll be fly if you were my B-U-D-D-Y. Don't be shy, give it a try. I could be yours and you can be mine, girl. I can't lie, it'll be fly if you were my B-U-D-D-Y. Don't be shy, give it a try. I could be yours and you can be mine. Sorry if I come off disrespectful or my convo is a little bit too sexual, but damn, it's incredible. Be more flexible, cause the context of this text is special. But wait, let me explain it. A buddy is an equal beneficial arrangement. A buddy is a buddy that don't be complaining when his or her buddy ain't the buddy that came with sometimes. And maybe I can call you up, and maybe I can take you out. So let's exchange digits and later arrange visits, either your place or mine. Yeah, it's a different type of commitment. I'm talking about a true friendship. Someone I can depend on if you're down no matter what. Let me know if you with it, cause girl, it'll be fly if you were my B-U-D-D-Y. Don't be shy, no, give it a try. Yeah, I could be yours and you can be mine, girl. I can't lie. It'll be fly, yeah, if you were my B-U-D-D-Y. If you were my what I'm really trying to say is the definition of a real buddy is she's that one. Yeah. Have fun. Oh, through the city with me. Together there's no limit to what we can do. And once we in it, girl, it's all about me. So baby, what you say? Don't pass this by your side, because girl, oh, if you were my B-U-D-D, if you were my B-U-D-D, give it a try. Yeah, I could be yours. Hey, I could be yours. My B-U-D-D-Y. Yeah, I could be yours and you can be mine. It'll be fly if you were my B-U-D-D-Y.
wow. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you all so much for tuning in into this Fusion podcast. This was episode 2 for all of you who tuned in just for the mix. Just wanted to let everybody know. Thank you so much for tuning in to this Fusion podcast episode 2 with Lisa Talks Love. I'm so fortunate to have so many beautiful individuals, and I have a crazy lineup for you, but I'm not going to say a lot because the next guest that we're going to have up is going to be an amazing individual, a United States Marine Corps veteran who specializes on finances. So if you want to enhance your finances, your love with finances, and your future with finances, don't forget to tune in to our next episode here at Fusion Podcast. Thank you so much, and see you next time.